to be a finish. Photo finish. Bigfoot takes it.
Barefoot takes the win.
Gravedigger, Gravedigger, Gravedigger.
It's gonna be a war. Bigfoot starts to come on him.
Up, 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 both of them. Look out for Mike Witt. He has flipped.
He's got his back on the hammer, and look at that run. Barefoot may have just done it. Barefoot may have just done it.
Monster truck battle is an 8-truck elimination. We will go down to a final 2, a head-to-head battle in competition. It could be anybody's race. Samson, Bigfoot, the Virginia Giant. A lot of the fine trucks are here tonight. It's going to be a real tough race. And I'll tell you what, when we go down to the last round, it's time for the drag race showdown. Bigfoot's out the lead, but here's the Duraliner Giant. Bigfoot, they're side by side. They're side by side. It's a shootout. It's a shootout. It's Bigfoot at the finish. It's Bigfoot at the finish.
Stopper, and they're off and rolling.
Johnny K gets a gate job on him, but the stopper, oh, we're in trouble. Stopper, engine seems to be going away. Medford stays after it, almost frustrated driving styles. Medford won't.
Whoa! Look out! Or will it be an all Chevrolet showdown? We're about to find out. They're even to the turn. The turn could decide it. They're still even. Now over the hill. Morris is ahead, but here comes Gravedigger. And he pulls it out. He pulled it out on the cars. Dennis Anderson.
Side by side as they come to the first bump. And there is Bigfoot coming off a little bit ahead. Now powering once again. Awesome song. Really flies. They touch wheels. They touch. They're still going for the line. And we don't have any idea who won it.
In our first round of competition, here's Scott Stevens and King KRUNCH. He's out of Woodlands, Texas, the new state-of-the-art monster truck.
Well, Butch, the reason it's one of the state-of-the-art trucks is he runs one of the new computers. Yes, the people from Autometer have come up with a new computer. Gives a lot of information back to these guys. He'll be running the Chevrolet colors, and who's he going to be sitting next to? One of the new young up-and-comer Chargers on this sport that drives a Ford product. That'll be Mike White in the Jersey Outlaw. New Jersey against Texas. They're side-by-side on the starting line. What does it look like from your viewpoint, Butch Krager? The light goes green.
Ford against GMC, and we have got them out of the gate, and here they go. It looks like Mike White taking the lead, but you can't count King KRUNCH out. Look at that jump, Army Armstrong. I tell you what, I think King KRUNCH beat him.
Talk about a top-end charge. King KRUNCH literally jumped past him in the air. The replay comes up on the finish line camera, and as you can see, about 6 inches was the margin of victory for the KRUNCH truck.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is our timing camera right there. It shows you exactly who won. And now let's go down to Army Armstrong with Scott Stevens.
Scott, everybody said there's going to be a driver's track. That's exactly what it is. You've got to think on this track, don't you?
Yeah, we've turned our motor way down. We've fattened everything up, trying to kill horsepower. And we just have too much to come off the line. So you just got to drive off the line. And, you know, because in qualifying, we had too much power, and I like to spun around. You just got to take it easy on the track because there's no traction.
Barefoot, Fred Schaefer's pride and joy from Granite City, Illinois. It's the pride of the Chevy line. Will go up against TAURUS. A great-looking truck, Mike. Just a superb-looking truck. Jack WILLMAN from Madison, Illinois has a lot to be proud of.
8,000 pounds of monster truck, ultra light, the lightest monster truck here. Fred Schaefer checking in right around 9,500 pounds on his. So there's two lightweight, ultra trick tube trucks that this should be as good a monster truck race as you'll ever see.
Down the track and then over the cars, and here we go.
Schaefer with a little bit of a lead in the turn. Schaefer with a tight turn. TAURUS catching up. TAURUS is in the lead. TAURUS is taking the lead. He's going to open the cars. TAURUS with a win.
TAURUS wins.
TAURUS with a big win. He won it in the turn. Fred had him covered on the straightaway. They went to the turns, and TAURUS, nailing the throttle with a tight turn, just absolutely stretched the lead out as they went over the last set of cars.
So TAURUS moves to the final.
Carolina Crusher is already on the starting line.
Okay, now what he's doing, he is using the rules to his advantage. Al Goss, the starter, immediately started a clock. He's got a 5-minute clock. Stevens, you can notice he's watching. Stevens has 5 minutes from the time his competitor goes into the lane. He's outside the building. It's raining feverishly. raining hard. He and his crew are working feverishly trying to get the truck to the lane. Is he going to make the 5-minute limit? This is where the drama comes in. And Butch, here he comes. The GMC is going to make it against the Chevrolet.
So the repairs have been made on Scott Stevens' machine. He may have gone and changed gearing. We don't know what he was doing outside, but just trying to get ready to take the win here against the Carolina Crusher tonight here at Omni.
Now, Butch, one of the reasons qualifying is so important is that it gives you lane choice. Scott Stevens, for the first time in Atlanta, is coming off of the right lane, not the left lane.
Both trucks on the converter car. They're out there. Look at the winner. There he is.
Whoa! Texas takes the win. Scott Stevens said it could be done, and he proved it in hot Atlanta.
He's so happy. Look at him get out of that truck. I thought he was going on his nose, Army, but he didn't. His truck landed okay. Gary Porter's can't be too disappointed with that run. A great win, though, for Scott Stevens here at Atlanta. Let's go down to the floor with Army Armstrong, Scott Stevens, and Colt and Gary Porter.
Scott Stevens takes the big win in Atlanta. Looks like your #1 fan was the first one down to congratulate you.
Yeah, he was out in the pits trying to help us a minute ago.
Well, you get the silver flag. We'll be watching next week. Good luck to you.
Thank you, Army.
Well, Gary Porter, everybody's playing hardball against you out there. Nothing to be ashamed of, though, really.
It's not. You know, I would like to have won, but I didn't. KRUNCH had a real good run, but I did what I wanted to do mainly, and that was put EQUALIZER right before the finals.
Well, they're rolling out the military now. This is the Gator with George Cole behind the wheel against the Virginia Beach Beast. William Powers driving that one. The Gator's an interesting truck. It's a 77 Chevy, but got a little bit of camouflage on it, too.
Well, it definitely has that. It is a military tank driveline under it. Has a big 454 cubic inch motor setting in the back of it, as does the Virginia Beach Beast. Now, the winner of this one will go up against the winner in the rubber-tired monster truck race.
Now, what would these be used for, Mike? Just quick little, jaunts out to the 7-Eleven for some milk late at night?
Either out to the 7-Eleven or through the 7-Eleven.
Gotcha.
This is going to be a great race. These guys with the tanks really don't let up. They go wide open from the time they leave. They steer with individual sticks, much like the heavy equipment, lock the tracks up and turn. They'll run about 40 miles an hour on the ground, and they're really exciting. You don't have to worry about a flat either.
No, I wouldn't think. Tank trucks side by side.
They're fast, they're agile, they get around quick, and it's going to be a really tough competition.
I would think that they would probably, with that kind of traction, go over the cars a little bit easier than some of those big rubber tire cars.
They will, and they'll destroy the cars. They weigh about 40,000 pounds apiece. Watch out. Virginia Beach Beast. Now they're both out. They start slow, but they go from there. Watch this. Never let up. The Gator over the top. It is close. The Beast is right beside him. Now they make the turn. This is very critical because they're side by side. Look at them. Wide open. They're not going to let up. I believe the Beast has got a little bit of a lead. The Gator is really coming on strong. The winner is going to be right here at home plate as they make the turn and head for the chute. Who's it going to be? They're side by side. It's the Beast. The Beast is in the lead. The Beast loses control. The Beast loses control. And let's wait on a winner. Whoa!
Oh, my goodness.
And they meet for a friendly visitation on the finish line.
The crowd loves it. And what a finish. Oh.
The Beast is wide open. He is really flying. Look at the parts come off the cars. Now, he loses control. He gets it sideways. He brings it back around. And when he does that, he's back on the throttle all the way. At that time, about that time, here comes the Gator. They're both there at same place, same time, and it's hello.
They gave it to the Gator.
The Gator. The Gator takes that one. Now, do you fill out insurance forms on this?
I think you better.
Better than that, I might say it's time for Civil War, Army. It is the North, USA 1, the defending national champion with Rob Litzow against South, Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger. Neither of these guys really like each other of late. As a matter of fact, there could be a little jealousy on behalf of them. Gravedigger, the popular truck, USA 1, got a lot of money behind him, and here we are. They're fighting it out.
Richard, a while ago when USA 1 ran, we used the bear story. What we got here is opening the door and two bears are in the room. They're just going to fight it out amongst themselves. is going to be close. I guarantee you. Look at this. They're coming along. Richard, final jump side by side. Almost went over the Gravedigger. They're trying to shut the USA 1 down. He's going way out the end of the track, and I have no idea who won that race.
Well, that makes two of us, and Digger has got some problems. Gravedigger has got some serious problems at the end of the track. There you see the finish line tape, and it is Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger getting the win just barely over Rod Litzau in USA 1. However, big-time problems on the Digger machine down there, as I can definitely see a right front tire that is totally flat. We don't know what other problems might be underneath it, but the big news, Dennis Anderson got his hands around USA 1 and strangled him for a win.
Dennis Anderson, when this thing started tonight, you told us you were going after USA 1. You lined up next to him, and you got him. What's going through your mind right now?
Well, I was glad I could pull it off. I pulled to the line. I didn't have second gear, so I had to bump it from low to third and just stay after it, you know, and I was going to nail him to the wall, and that's what I did. Done a little bit of damage to the truck, but who cares? I beat him.
What goes through your mind at a time like that? That's almost scary.
Well, it is. It's blood and guts out here, you know. We're for real. You know, we're here to win the points champion. We got big purse to win, and we got reputations to live up to, and we're going to live up to them.
And you're going to the final. We'll see you there.
All right, thanks.
Rod Litzau, 7/100ths of a second. So little, but yet so far.
Yeah, I don't know. I ain't way I planned it out here. I was pushing it to the limit there. I don't know. If I was a lot closer than that, I don't know. Maybe I have to review the tape again. I don't think he got me because I was looking out the side of my... I was looking out the side. I could see him behind me, so I don't know if he got me there.
So you got some doubt as to whether or not he did beat you?
Yeah, I'd like to see the tape on it.
Kind of a crowd favorite here tonight. The Alien machine, the only Nissan on the circuit. The Nissan plant is not 20 miles outside the city of Nashville.
Well, the sheet metal is Nissan, Richard. However, the horsepower is all American. It's Chevrolet, small block Chevrolet. Kind of two theories here. The small block Chevrolet with the Nissan, he'll be working a right lane. Left lane, the fellow we were just talking to, Steven's out of Texas. He believes in those Texas big cubic inch engines. Supercharged 514 cubic inch Chevrolet and the KRUNCH. Small block 350 Chevrolet on the Alien, and a whole shot. The Alien jumped him right off the starting line, Richard, but KRUNCH is trying to pull him back.
Scott bouncing and rolling and going down the track and going off course. Scott Stevens off course. He will be disqualified. The winner and an upset, Kevin Dabney and the Alien machine, as first round action continues in Nashville in just a moment on ES. TNT Monster Truck Challenge continues. Tonight, Montgomery, Alabama, capacity crowd on hand. It is quarterfinal round competition as King Kong, driven by Steve Kane, is going to be taking on a real nice kid, Dave Wysorick in Nightlife.
So, Richard, Dave Wysorick's kind of the all-American boy. He's a new kid on the block, helps everybody out, drives the Chevrolet, gets a good lead in the right lane, but look at that Texas Ford come back. Texas Ford will be going to the next round.
But another great, tight race. Dave Wysorick gives it his all, but he comes up short right here at the end. So Steve Kane and King Kong out of Killeen. Army, try saying that 5 times. Bet you can't do it. He advances to the semifinals, and this could be an interesting semifinal. If Awesome Kong wins, he'll take on King Kong. They are brother trucks, both owned by Jeff Dane out of Killeen, Texas, and they've never raced against each other. Let's go trackside. Army's got Steve now.
Well, Steve, we just received word there's a possibility, since you're going into the semifinals, you may have to run your team truck, Awesome Kong. What do you think about that?
Well, he out-horsepowers me, but I'm going to give it my best, you know.
When it comes down to that, is there any kind of theory or anything on it, or just the best truck win?
Just more horsepower. We're not going to sandbag. We're going to do a good show.
You're going to do what good Texans do. You're just going to have a war out there.
That's right. We're going to do it all.
Back to you, Richard. These guys are serious tonight.
Army, are you ready for the showdown? It is the finals. Awesome Kong, the Chevrolet, against Bigfoot and the Ford.
Richard, you called it a showdown. That's exactly what it is. The kid out of Texas has never beaten Jim Kramer. He wants it bad. He's going after him. Kramer knows it. He's an old pro, but Kramer's got to hold off the kid out of Texas. Richard, I don't know. Look how close it is.
At the finish line, we cannot tell who won it. Watch on this replay. Both of them come off side side by side. Both, I guess you might say, Army got a whole shot. Bigfoot and Awesome Kong, I still can't say who won, as Steve Dane skied high and gave it his all trying to get this win. Let's go trackside in just a moment. Maybe, Army, you've got the officials down there. Maybe you can give us the winner of this final round in Montgomery.
Both drivers stepping out of their vehicles. Steve, you go over to congratulate Jim. Do you have any idea who won that race? From our viewpoint, we could not tell.
I was too busy thinking about stopping, Army. I really don't know.
Jim Cranger's back into the truck. We just received word that Steve Dane was the official winner.
I've been running with Jim. I raced him so many times, I never had a chance to beat him. To me, he seemed unbeatable. You know, all the magazine stuff I read about him was true in Bigfoot. Finally, I did it one time. I gave it all. That truck ran all it was worth.
It probably only lost by a couple hundreds, but a couple hundreds will do it, you know. And whenever you run Steve Dane, well, you got to run hard. He runs hard.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, as always, Bigfoot, a class act. We'll be following the rest of the tour. Back to you, Richard.
Well, here it is, the race-off between Track Attack and Fast Tracks, and I guess this is a Detroit dream. This is Chevy against Ford.
This is two men's dream. Both of these guys are tough. The Track Attack, it's quite a bit lighter. It runs one blower motor. It's Chevrolet. The Fast Track, it runs two Ford motors, but it's heavier. So, you know, they're going to be real equal.
About a 3,000-pound difference.
And these are probably the only two that I know of with this type of chassis underneath it, this M55 Retriever. And you notice they're not going to take the beating inside of it. This is all torsion bar suspension. It's all World War II, or Korean War. The other two tanks we saw earlier were... They were World War II. These are Korean, so these are later models. Here we go. Watch out. Who's it going to be? You can't see out of the front of Ernie's. You cannot see out of the front of Ernie's. He's all over it. He's up in the air. He cannot see where he's going. The windshield is frosted over. He's made the turn. He's got to go up and over. Who's it going to be? Chandler's in the lead. Chandler has got a little bit of a lead right now, but they make the turn, and the turn is going to be tight. It's not over with. Chandler's in trouble. Ernie Brucken makes a quick turn. It's going to be Brucken. Brucken's in the tank attack. He does it. Ernie Brucken takes the win with the tank attack.
Oh, man. And Mike, as you said, as this race began, Brookins had a problem with this windshield frosting over.
The windshield frosted over completely when he hit the first set of cars, and the first set of cars, Ken, are absolutely destroyed. There is Ernie.
So now Ernie Brookins will go to the finals, and Bob Chandler, who could not beat Brookins in the Battle of the Monster Tanks, will now let his honor be upheld by Bigfoot.
Well, Ernie's going to have to check things over. He's got 3 back-to-back runs on the motor. It's got to be getting hot. It's got to be getting a lot of heat in it.
There is a look at Bob Chandler, who is not a happy man at this point. You can imagine. I wonder what happened and where he had his problem.
You see Alan over on the other side. There's got to be something wrong. When he went to turn it, it didn't want to turn on him. It didn't want to do what it normally does. So I would have to venture to say there's some kind of a problem maybe in the braking system in the drive lines. Let's take a look on the replay at what happens with it. Now look at the windshield on the tank attack. Absolute Track Attack. No way Ernie Brookins can see what he's doing. Look at Ernie. Never mind. Just go on with it. He comes off at a little bit of an angle. Hopefully the windshield's clearing up. Now Bob Chandler at this time, Ken Brew, has a lead. Bob Chandler's in the lead when they go over these 2 berms and down the chutes. Chandler's got a lead on him.
But right here.
Now look, this is where Chandler hits the problem. He can't make that turn. He had Ernie Brookins beat. He truly did. Look at, he had to back up. Ernie Brookins sitting in there for a ride and just slides across for a win.
Ernie Brookins the winner in Track Attack.
Here comes the pride of Chevrolet, Stomper, and Mike Witt. Mike, of course, out of Mount Washington, Kentucky, against my favorite guy on the circuit, the beady red-eyed machine of Gravedigger and Dennis Anderson.
Anderson out of Virginia will be working the inside. Witt out of Kentucky, he'll be working the side closer to the track. Now, 2 different philosophies here also, Richard. Notice how slow Stomper starts off. The type of clutch he runs, it almost has to wind up like a rubber band. Meanwhile, Anderson nails the throttle and looks like he's done a lot of damage. As smoke starts to roll out the back, he'll advance in the win column.
Smoke not only rolling out as it covers the entire screen there, it starts boiling out of the back of the Gravedigger machine. What could that indicate? Because I know Dennis's motor is in the back of that. Could it be the motor of maybe transmission or something else?
It looked like transmission. We don't know now. I guarantee a lot of people are going to be jumping around trying to help him. You notice, matter of fact, the crew member from Bigfoot looks to be the first one over to help out. Everybody wants to help this kid stay in competition.
Well, it does look like it is a transmission problem as you see fluid leaking down. Dennis Anderson checking underneath Gravedigger machine. He needs to get back in competition to gain some points.
I can still make a pass. What's the deal?
The script for this monster truck final. They couldn't have done any better. Awesome Kong, the Chevrolet close. Bigfoot on the far side. The green light winks on. Bigfoot jumps to an early advantage, but Awesome Kong catches up on the first straight. They come to the corner together, side by side as they come to the first bump. And there is Bigfoot coming off a little bit ahead. Now, powering once again. Awesome Kong really flies. They touch wheels. They touch. They're still going for the line. And we don't have any idea who won it. Boy, is that close. Nobody in the Astrodome, including the drivers involved, know who won it. Well, as TNT is reviewing their finish line camera in order to declare a winner, let's take a look at one of the finest, the finest monster truck final we have ever had a chance to enjoy. And each driver had a different strategy for the U-turn. With the longer wheelbase, Brandt took Awesome Kong wide. And that line take the final jumps. Now, let's look at Mark Brandt and the Awesome Kong here way, way up in the air. The officials are still reviewing videotape, trying to decide who won this race. Mark Brandt almost nosed her in and then bounced off the side of Bigfoot. Now, let's take a look. Different angle, same situation. Awesome Kong bounces high into the air, gets against Bigfoot. Now here comes the official announcement, and it's Awesome Kong. Mark Brandt, the rookie, wins it. An incredible victory over the longtime champion Bigfoot and Andy Brass. Hey, he's one happy man. Look at him do his little victory boogie here. Mark Brandt, the winner.
This place is bedlam, Paul. Mark Brandt, as you might imagine, doing a little Rocky imitation. And who could...
So our next pairing come up, and here comes a new sensation on the tour. Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw out of Pennsauken, New Jersey.
He goes up against none other than the original Thunder Chicken. Now, what they were talking about on this hill, you see where the flagman's standing or the starter's standing? It's flat right there. You go up, then it levels out, and it goes back down. It's not a rounded top, so it is a driver's hill.
Man, they're even when they leave the starting line. This is anybody's race, Armstrong.
Butch, I tell you, I don't know how to call that one. They're going to have to go back to a replay. That was awfully close. Outlaw had a good lead in the right lane, but the Thunder Chicken came back on the other end.
I don't know. It's anybody's race. Let's go down and see what Mike Wine thought about the race with Thunder Chicken.
Well, Mike, Thunder Chicken got you on that one. Boy, you took a wild ride right at the end.
Yeah, I got on it too hard on that hill, and it nose dove on me real bad. I got out of it pretty good, so.
What's the ride feel like out there?
Oh, it's real rough. It's like going up a roller coaster and dropping off the other end with no tracks.
So as you can see on the replay, just barely Thunder Chicken taking the win right there, Arnie Armstrong.
Well, you got to remember where they measure from, that being the...
Well, there's a look close at Jeff Boehner of Hot Stuff. He has beat Bigfoot in an upset before, and he has served notice. He's one of the up-and-coming 4x4s, the monster truck 4x4s. The Jeep CJ7 against the Chevy pickup. Let's see what happens. Again, they turn very crucial. They get off the line. They are handlebar to handlebar, wheel to wheel. Look at this. Throwing it sideways. Heartbeat goes to the inside and takes over the lead as they head for the cars. Leaders slow down, landing very hard on a problem, it looks like, with the Jeep. It's a photo finish, and the word we have is that Heartbeat wins. And look at that front axle, Margot.
Well, you got to remember, the front end of his vehicle is 15 inches wider. Now, that makes it more stable around the turns, but he's going to be vulnerable to damage because of all the leverage. He's got to land very carefully over those jumps. Maybe we'll get an opportunity to see what happens to him.
Okay, this is Hot Stuff. Now, watch that left front wheel. What happens? It's the cars, launches in the air, and comes down and down. Oh, they're still in the air and down hard. There it is, right there. It breaks. The axle apparently broke, Margot, and that threw him off to the left.
He almost cleared all those cars. Somebody must have told him this was a jumping competition.
Oh, what a tough break for Hot Stuff. A broken axle, a broken front axle.
Awesome Kong is going to be facing Bigfoot in our next semifinal matchup. And you know, Steve Kane has been coming on strong lately after replacing Steve Dane as driver of Awesome Kong. We asked Steve about the truck's performance and the driver's performance since that change.
I'm comfortable in the truck, but I don't think the truck's where it should be as far as in the points. I personally feel that the truck should be right up there in number one.
Okay, how are you going to get it in that number one spot?
I'm just going to have to go out there and do better running.
What seems to be the problem this year? You guys having breakage problem or anything? I don't see any driver error at all. Is it breakage problem?
Yeah, we had a problem there for a while with our transfer cases kept breaking and stuff like that, but I think we pretty well got that fixed.
Well, let's find out how well they fixed it as Awesome Kongs takes on Bigfoot to find out who gets the right to face USA 1 for the championship tonight.
Another Chevrolet Ford battle. Bigfoot wants to get a hold of USA 1, but so does the Texas Awesome Kong. What's going to happen? Steve Kane comes out. Richard, what a race, side by side. Whoa. I cannot tell from my viewpoint. You're going to have to call this one, Richard Lee.
We've got track officials up here with radios. We're waiting for the official word now. As such a close race, a photo finish. They're reviewing the videotape, and we are getting to where there you see it. The winner is going to be by a tire. Awesome Kong advances into the championship. He'll face Rod Litzow in USA 1. Let's go down and talk to the winner.
Well, Steve Kane, the winner's flag is going to go to a new truck tonight. It's either going to go to Minnesota or it's going to go to Texas. What do you have to say about it?
I feel it's going to go to Texas.
You did something nobody else could do tonight. You won out of the left lane. You not only won, you won by 2/100ths of a second over Bigfoot. It took an extra special driving effort on your behalf. You're doing a great job with that truck, and I know you're going to go back in that left lane because USA 1's not going to come out of the right. But I don't believe you're as worried about it now as you were a moment ago.
No, I was kind of worried there for a little bit when I had that lane. But now that I won, I feel good about that lane. I feel it's pretty equal, and I feel that I can win.
So this is the Monster Truck Final. And the winner of this event will take on Barefoot Tracks. Track 1, Black Stallion, Michael VATERS. Beautiful machine there on the right. Track 2, that's Samson, Don Maples, driver owner, and Samson gets off the line first. He is gassing. Now he slows way down and gives the Black Stallion a chance to go in front. The Black Stallion almost goes on his head. They are neck to neck, wheel to wheel, across the line. Looks like, well, possibly Samson. I think Samson won that by about a foot, Margot. That was a mighty close race.
Looked like a photo finish to me, Larry.
Nope. They tell us it is the Black Stallion that wins. So the Black Stallion will go to the finals. 3 seconds slower than Barefoot Tracks. Take a look at it in slow motion. The Black Stallion and Samson. There's the Black Stallion. 10.12 seconds. Elapsed time. Body a little bit crooked there as he comes up on the first car. Gets up in the air, all 4 wheels getting air. Comes back around almost on his nose and almost goes over on his top, Margot.
A real serious nosedive there, but he saved it.
That did cost him some time, however. The Black Stallion gets across the line. Here is Samson. 10.29 seconds. Comes up, hits the cars first. Up in the air, but then slows down as the Black Stallion takes over the lead. For just a moment, the Black Stallion loses very valuable time there as he gets sideways, crossed up. Samson, a beautiful run, gets down on the ground and puts the power to those wheels and heads for the finish line.
Mike's basically fearless attitude has saved him through this entire night of competition.
These drivers have got to be in incredible physical condition. Look at the impact the bodies take. Whoa. The head bouncing around.
Boy, but you talk about action. This next round is kind of interesting, and I tell you why. I was wondering who is going to be working the right lane. All the quick guys are going over to that side. USA 1 quick qualifier pushes the night lights in the left lane. Litzow says he's going to pull the trigger literally on that USA 1 truck. Use the right lane to his advantage. Look at the front. Super.
Out of the gate he goes. He's on his way. Whoa, a bad bounce for USA number 1. He's going over, end over end, side over side. Rod Litzow in a violent crash, one of the worst that I have ever seen in monster truck racing. There's Army Armstrong helping get Rod Litzow out of the machine there at the far end of the track. Rod visibly shaken by this accident. The crews of the other monster trucks coming over to check out on Rod Litzow. There's the owner, Everett Jasmine. Let's take a look at it again. As he comes off, the car's a real bad bounce. The truck goes over first on its nose, then side over side, back again, back on the tail of the truck, and back on its top. What a violent crash that we have had here at the Auto City Speedway. Rod Litzow visibly shaken. He cannot believe it. This is the 6th time that that truck has been over on its top. Here's the ambulance checking things out. Army's trying to get a hold of Everett Jasper to talk to him about Rod Litzow.
Everett Jasper, first things first. Is the driver okay?
Rod's okay. He just shook up. No physical damage.
What about the truck? It looks like 89 just went down the tubes for you.
Looks like we're making a real hard charge for the end of the season here, and it really looks bad right now. I mean, that's not to say we won't be back next week, but it doesn't look real good.
What goes through your mind as an owner, Everett? I know you put your heart and soul in this. You've worked so hard to get to be that #1 truck, and then it's almost like you had a monkey on your back all year long.
We've had a real bad one on our back. It's been a number of things. I've got a lot of complaints about the season, but all in all, we've just had a real tough season. We've got new trucks already near completion. I plan on coming back and taking the championship again next year. Looks like we probably won't make it this year.
Well, we're looking at a sight that really, I'm sorry to say, is not uncommon in 1989. Litzow, USA 1, what can you say? On his head again. That shows you how tough the competition is for this national championship. They're currently set #3 in the points. He had to go for it. This is what happened.
On our cold and windy night here in Flint, Michigan. Back on the starting line, we've got Johnny K and the Buffalo Trimmer coming to the starting line. He'll be up against Mr. Scott Stevens in the King Crunch machine out of Texas.
Scott Stevens teams up with the Autometer people to go with one of the new onboard computers, and it has given him nothing but good stuff. Ever since he put the computer in the truck, he's been running like a bandit. He goes up against the kid that won last week. Look at this Texas truck, the GMC. Oh, he's trying to hold off this kid out of New York. I don't believe he did it. I do not believe this. He passed him at the finish line in the air, Butch.
And the timing camera replay shows you your winner. It is Johnny K and the Buffalo Trimmer. Let's go down to Army with Johnny right now.
I'm trying to stick with the same driving style that I did with last week. That's what I was getting confused with, was the driving style. We were trying to change so many different times, trying something different. I think we finally got it down now where I'm just consistent with the same driving style.
Well, one of the main rules in motorsports is you only change one thing at a time. That's what you're doing now?
That's what we're doing, one thing at a time. And right now, I think we don't have to change anything anymore. I think we got it right now.
You qualify first doesn't mean you'll win it all, as we just found out. But now we're ready for the other semifinal, Bigfoot and Stomper 1.
Chevrolet versus Ford. This one alone is worth the price of admission as Stomper trying to hold off Rich Hoosier. Mike Witt on the inside, Hoosier on the outside, side by side as they approach the first turn. It's going to be a war. Bigfoot starts to come on him.
Up, 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 both of them. Look out for Mike Witt. He has flipped it. Mike Witt has flipped Stomper 1 and a Chevrolet. The safety people running over right now to him. Smoke coming from the machine. Army Armstrong has run down there now to check on his condition. Mike Witt at Stomper 1 probably could have won this race in that Chevrolet. He is out of it now. He is out of the car. Look on the replay how high he went up. Bounced down right onto the nose. Flipped over on the driver's side. Mike Witt is all right, unbelievably, but this means Bigfoot has won it, and really it was a lucky win because he had a flat tire, which meant that Stomper 1 probably could have won this race. Let's go down to Army Armstrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Witt, for the second time in his pro career, has gone head over heel, high-sided the Stomper Chevrolet, and one of the most gruesome flips we've seen. Now, Mike, #1, you're okay.
I'm fine, man.
I tell you what, a tremendous race going. Of course, your old rival, Bigfoot, you represent the Chevrolet camp, him the Ford camp. Can you tell us exactly what happened?
I really don't know, Army. No idea.
Well, we're glad you're okay. We're going to let you get back to his crew, ladies and gentlemen. The final is set up. It'll be a Ford out of Texas and a Ford out of Missouri. However, we noticed when Bigfoot went by us a moment ago, his left rear tire had gone flat.
Well, I guarantee you.
We're back at the Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana for U.S. Hopping Association Championship Monster Truck action. I'm Brett Kebner along with Shelley Herman. We are ready for elimination-style monster truck action on a closed course. And indeed, the very first pair up includes the incredible Predator of Alan PEZO from Michigan and this incredible tow truck. Ray Perkowski from St. Louis, Missouri. The machine called Evil Force is a fully operational tow truck. Here they come to the finish line. And, man, you couldn't call a closer race than that, Shelley.
That's really something I've never seen Evil Force run before, and I'm glad he doesn't have to put his own tow truck to his own usage.
Well, the winner has been declared the Predator of Alan PEZO, the supercharged Chevrolet, but you got to credit the Ford driver with the original pickup truck from St. Louis. A tremendous effort. Now, this is an unusual event, an unusual course in the sense that the finish line is actually in the air. These vehicles will be airborne, heading at each other on 2 different tracks when they cross the actual finish line that determines the winner and runner-up. Of course, the winner of each round will advance to the next competition round here in the 4-wheel drive class. And remember, the winner of the overall 4-wheel drive title will take on the winner of the tank division. Here you see that last set of cars in which in the middle, in the air, is the finish line. PEZO a little sideways. Watch the landing. Boy, he takes a hit in the cockpit. The machine very sideways. He manages to keep it upright while hanging out of the driver's side window to take the win by a matter of inches.
He sure got his head bunged up there, too, by hanging it out the window like that.
A lot of drivers seem to prefer to be able to see the left front wheel while they're going over cars, to see how it reacts, to see if the suspension is working properly, and it also gives them a little better field of vision than looking over the hood. Now here you see Ray Perkowski from St. Louis with the wheels up of this incredible 18,000-pound vehicle. It is one of the heaviest monster trucks currently in competition. It takes a rough landing as well. And like I said, he was just a few feet short in that airborne finish line, sending Michigan's Alan PEZO and the Predator Chevrolet into the next competition round. Wild ride here by the Evil Force tow truck.
Now we'll look forward to that semifinal matchup, USA 1 against Gravedigger. Now who else is going to be in the semifinals? It'll either be Scott Stevens and King KRUNCH or David Morris and the Equalizer, rookie against veteran.
Rookie will be driving in the red truck, the veteran, the high-tech truck, runs the onboard computer. Stevens comes out with the Texas truck. He's making it tough on Morris. Morris got to come back.
Whoa!
I believe Morris nipped you. Oh, we got some shutdown problems. They were running it out the back door, Richard.
I could not tell from topside who the winner was. You saw David Morris shut it down violently up against the guardrail. Looks like he may have a right or a left front tire gone down on him from hitting that guardrail. That is the TNT officials looking at the finish line tape, and there it is. David Morris and the Equalizer gets the win by 3/100ths of a second.
Well, Scott, the word is the Equalizer did get you by 0.03 of a second.
Yeah, you know, that's not bad. You know, this is only the 7th time the truck's been down the track. You know, every week it's getting faster. You know, a couple of weeks we were winning. Tonight we were off just a little bit. You know, maybe I should have been driving a little bit harder. You know, there's tomorrow night. We've got a lot more races to go, and I still think we're going to be maybe a truck that's going to mess up a lot of guys in the final round before it's over with.
Dave Morris, 0.03 of a second. Not very much, but enough in this game of thousandths of seconds.
Yeah, that was a real close race. I wasn't sure who won it. I knew when we hit the cars, we were just dead heat up, and I was just praying that I had a little edge on him. I had her to the floor when we went for the second set of cars. That's what I was hoping to pass him in the air.
What about the shutdown? You definitely had your hands full trying to get that truck under control and get it stopped before you got into the guardrail down here on the finish line end.
Yeah, yes, I did. I didn't know what kind of shape I was going to be in when I landed. I knew I was going for the hole in the guardrail, and I was afraid to get on the brakes, and I was afraid to try to turn it, so I just thought I'd kind of slow it down gradually, so that's what I did.
One of the most popular pieces of equipment at this event each and every year from Avalon, Florida, is Tommy Bryant. And the machine you're looking at right now, the world's only 1967 Ford Mustang Fastback monster machine. Using an all-original production body, Tommy Bryant has combined this incredible Ford Mustang, a show-quality piece of equipment in itself, with monster truck engineering. And indeed, he will be up against this gentleman, Clint DAGGIT, another Florida racer from Spring Hill, Florida, with his monster Ford called Thumper. DAGGIT utilizing a Ford F-250 body style and a 460 cubic inch Ford wedge in this 14,000-pound piece of equipment. So an all-out battle between two Floridians on the starting line. And remember, this is for qualifying positions in the final starting field. Side-by-side drag racing style elimination action will be coming up once we get into the actual elimination segment of the Super Bowl of Motorsports Monster Truck program. And you can see the course layout. Indeed, it includes a total of 7 vehicles in the first half of the car crush segment. The vehicles are equipped with dirt ramps to help the machines get airborne over them. After that, they will try to clear a total of 9 more vehicles, with the finish line located the 3rd vehicle before the end of the 2nd set of cars. The green flag comes down, and it is the Mustang Pony Express in the air and ahead of the Thumper Ford. Now over the second set of cars, a tight battle. The Pony Express machine lands off the cars, as does DAGGIT in the Thumper. But the Pony Express Ford Mustang of Tommy Bryant takes the first win and will get a chance to set the qualifying pace. Tommy Bryant took a wild ride on that run, as we can see on this replay. The first set of cars gave him a tremendous amount of air, but bouncing around between the cars, Tommy was still trying to set up the Mustang for a clean hit and got sideways on the initial impact. Landing off to the left-hand side of the cars, he still goes through with an incredible 9.13 second elapsed time.
Now let's see who is going to face Dave White Tour. Either 28-year-old Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger, or Ron Litzau and USA 1, the defending national champion. But Army, he is not at the line yet, and they have started the stopwatch on him.
Okay, now what this is, you have 5 minutes to get into the lane. Once your competitor goes to the starting line, 5 minutes from that time, you must be there. USA 1's going to make it. But remember, just a moment ago, we were watching the crew. They're trying to weld a drive shaft back together on this truck. I look for a kamikaze run here because he doesn't know if it's going to work or not. But he's got to get to the line, and that's where we are right now, Richard Lee.
The #1 truck in America going up against the most feared truck in America, USA 1 and Gravedigger. They are ready to rock and roll in Richmond. The winner takes on Nightlife.
Both of them lead side by side. Looks like a good race. A little bit of a lead for USA 1. Anderson trying to come back. Litzau. Oh, what a bounce.
Whoa, wait a minute. Ron Litzau gets the win, Army, but I think I saw something come flying out from underneath the truck. Let's check it on a replay. Litzau to win, but possible breakdown.
Watch at the very end, right there. You can see something let go, and right there it comes out. Litzau completely destroyed the bottom side of the truck. I don't think he's going to make it back into the finals.
He is not going to. The word already is that Dennis Anderson.
And there is the track attack. Ernie Brookins from Fargo, North Dakota. The Battle of the Monster Tanks will feature Ernie Brookins from Fargo, North Dakota. One of the greatest baseball players of all time was from Fargo, Roger Maris. And now, here so many years later, a driver athlete, if you will, in Ernie Brookins. 427 Chevy Big Block.
Ernie Brookins is pretty sharp in these tanks. He's all around tough. Ernie is the first person to build one of these late model M55 retrievers, tank retrievers used during the Korean War. Ernie's like 8'6" wide, 7'4" high, about 18'10" long, and weighs 19,900 pounds. That is lightweight for a tank. Now, there's a shot of Ernie. Look at the cage around him. He's got a complete roll cage. Ernie Brookins is an old race car driver. He has ran almost every kind of vehicle you've ever seen. Here's California Gold.
Yeah. I was gonna say California Gold. Interesting in itself that it comes from right around the corner here in Newberry Springs, California. Again, a Chevy blown engine, 481, but heavy, 26,000 pounds.
Ken Brew, listen to this. 3 o'clock this afternoon, they finished California Gold and loaded it on the trailer. So they've had it done about just a short while. Watch them run. Ernie Brookins is really hanging out. Look out. Ernie Brookins is really, he clear along. But now back over to California Gold. It's the first time ever. Look at Ernie Brookins over on the far side of the tank attack. Ernie Brookins is flying. He says 4 cars is not enough for him. He'll miss them all. He'll jump them all. Let's see what he does. He's headed out for them.
Oh, my goodness.
Look at that, Ken. Did you see that?
Great driving by Ernie Brookins.
And what did he do when he landed on his nose? He nailed the throttle and went on with it.
Smoke now coming out of the track attack. There you see California Gold finishing up. There's the track attack. Mike, when he came down and almost seemed to tip over, what did he have to do there? Did he have to accelerate at that point?
He had to get on the throttle. He had to just absolutely stand on the throttle and let it pull itself out. And there's your winner of this round.
My goodness.
Ernie Brookins out of Fargo. That's his wife and his #1 pit person beside him.
A lot of smoke. I don't know if that's cause for concern. I would think more concerned with what's happened to the cars, but
well, Ken Brew,
that looks like my car that I rented from Hertz.
It was.
Oh no.
And that is underlined was.
Track attack, the winner in round 1 of the Monster Tanks. There will be a runoff with the winner of round 2, and that will feature something that I know you'll be interested in. The latest endeavor of Alan Gaines. Let's take a look at this again, Mike. The way he drove, Ernie Brookins was sensational. Here's California Gold.
First time out, and the California Gold driver got to be concerned. You know, he only finished at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Here's Ernie. Look at the tight turn with Ernie. Good job, real tight, heads it down the chutes, up over the berm, and just absolutely flying with this retriever. And he runs a custom-built rear end, a Crowder glide with an airshift Linko. Watch him jump. Watch the front end of it get high in the air, and then it noses over. Almost, you can see Ernie sitting inside, his hands spread out, one hand on each throttle and control, and he lands. He was getting a lot of smoke out of it at that time.
King of Crunch Car Racing. Army, it's going to be a heck of a matchup. Rod Litzau, USA 1 Chevrolet against Steve, the Flying Texan Dane. Awesome Kong, the Chevrolet. I am going to call, I don't know if it's an upset or not. I'm going to go with USA 1. I think he's had a smooth run.
Steve Dane has been smiling too much for me. I'm going to go with that kid from Texas. Litzau's been here before. He told you what he's got to do. He's got to leave on this kid. If he doesn't get in front of the Texan, he knows the Texan's going to come flying past him.
But see, Litzau gets that early jump. That's why I'm taking him for the win.
Richard, I don't know. I'm still going to work with Awesome Kong. The finish line is where it's all about. Let's see what's... Oh, what a run!
Oh, no. Awesome Kong has done it. I look like a fool. You look like a prophet. Steve Dane looks like a champion. There he is, and the crowd is loving it. Awesome Kong with a big win, and he does it by flying through the air.
What a run by this kid out of Texas. These people, they get so involved in these monster truck races. Look at Dane. He's working a crowd to perfection. He's pumped up because he's #1 in Tallahassee.
Well, Rod Litzau did what I thought he was going to do. He got that early jump, but Awesome Kong and Steve Dane powered through at the end. Mid-air took the win and the championship in Tallahassee.
Richard, I tell you what, I hate to have been playing cards with this guy tonight. He was holding a trump card. You had everybody worried out there. You kept crying the blues about the torque converter, but you left the start line like a rocket that time. The torque converter hooked up perfect.
Yeah, it's capable of doing that. I couldn't do it every run and have something left at the end of the night. So I was kind of milking it over the first few races there, just enough to win whoever I was racing. That bye run helped me out today. I didn't have to work it so hard. And I'm sure it's about as close as you can get to burning up a transmission or a torque converter, because I don't usually get in this hot and get away with it.
Who's going to be the truck to beat in 1989?
Any question about it, it's right here, Awesome Kong.
Coming up now, Samson versus Goliath in the battle of the monster trucks here from the Pontiac Silverdome. Beautiful machines, each costing well over $100,000, $150,000 now. And that's Samson. Driver is Don Maples. He's 40 years old, of Huntsville, Alabama. It's 1985 Chevy Silverado, the big block Chevy engine. He'll go up against Goliath, driven by Alan Tura of Warren, Ohio, the 1979 Ford twin-engine Ford F-350.
That twin-engine truck is a showstopper when he gets all of his lights and all of his motors roaring.
Okay, here we go. Samson against Goliath. The battle of the mythological heroes.
We'll see who's ready to race in this one.
Boy, I'm telling you, looks like Samson is ready and gets off the line faster. Now slows down, comes up in the air. This is where it's dangerous. And people ask us, do these machines crash? Yes, they do. They crash, but Samson makes it through first. Let's take a look back at him in slow motion and see what happened off the line. It seemed to me that Samson was just a little bit more anxious to go and got a beautiful start, and that was the whole secret there.
He's a little more antsy, but it seems like every driver has his own approach to how they're going to hit the cars. You hit the cars hard, you're going to get a lot of air. Maybe you're going to get lose some driving forward time. You go a little easier when you hit those cars, maybe you'll make a better time.
This is Goliath. His time, 11.75 seconds. A little slower start than Samson. Slows down, almost comes to a stop there as he hits the first car.
Goes over the cars fairly easily. This truck is one of the most sturdy on the circuit. He's made more passes with the least really
any problems at all. He hasn't had any.
Right.
Samson with 11.4 second clocking. Good start. Keeps the momentum up. Does not slow down, but just a little bit as he hits the first car. Watch this. Keeps the throttle on. The rear wheels driving. Completely up in the air. Extensive use of chrome underneath on that chassis. Comes back down again and again. Keeps the throttle pressed to the floor. Comes off the cars, and this is where he gasses it, and that makes it.
So there you have it, the battle between Samson and Goliath. Rear engine and front engine Ford. Look at the flash bulbs go off. Another view of it. Look at that blown engine, Ford engine in the back. Woo! Bouncing and rocking and rolling.
Jon Breen in Mad Dog.
Of course, Mad Dog's, his shop is only a couple hours away from the Bigfoot shop, so he wants to beat Bigfoot bad, and he'll do anything it takes to take a win. Now let's see what's going to happen here. Andy's got his work cut out for him. They both got a great hole shot. Mad Dog just inching up on him a little bit there. It's close. Whoa. They both hit the cars about the same time. It looks like Mad Dog wins. Unbelievable. And it was a great run. Let's see what happened to Andy. It looked like he started bouncing a little bit after that first set of cars. And he just might be just a little bit under horsepowered right there. And Mad Dog just nosed him out. Now here's a good ground shot at the finish line. And you'll see the air that these guys get where Mad Dog just barely beats him.
Well, let's find out what happened to Andy Brass.
Andy, when you're Bigfoot, everybody's after you.
That's right. You know, trying to be the name, trying to uphold the name, you know, it's getting to be a lot harder now. A lot of guys getting a little faster, a little bit better trucks, you know, and it's really getting to be rough now.
Well, now Mike's got a very, very happy winner, Jon Breen.
John, you told me you were going to get him, and you did it. Tell us about it.
Well, I come out real hard, and I come out pretty even with him, and I come off the cars. I was just a little ahead of him, and I got just a little bit crooked, so I stayed in it. I didn't know how I was going to end up. He was really coming on. That big motor was getting me quick, so it couldn't have been no closer, but I got him at the end of it.
Look at this. Look at this.
Here is the story of the night. Alan Gaines has finally come up with a monster truck, a monster tank truck.
No, wait, kid. How could you call that a monster tank truck?
Well, but it is. But I think what we got to understand, it's a train. It's a train. Alan Gaines, who is in love with the Orange Blossom Special moniker, has come up with the real Orange Blossom Special. The Orange Blossom Special was a train. Why not make a monster tank out of a train?
Now, Alan has never been over the cars in this one. So we're seeing a lot of brand new things here tonight.
Well, you had a first-hand look at that. You know, we saw you ride in on the open tonight.
Boy, and the horsepower and the quickness of that thing.
You said you can feel that when you're inside. Your body just shudders.
You can, and it's got such instant response. Now, that vehicle weighs more than any vehicle I've ever seen in competition. 30-some thousand pounds, and that's 35,000, and that's a guesstimate weight.
Well, if this was baseball, this would be like Willie Mays against Hank Aaron in a home run hitting contest. Two of the biggest names in pulling today.
The two biggest names.
Yeah, I said two of. You're right, two of the biggest. But they're not. They are the two biggest. Alan Gaines and Bob Chandler.
You got to remember, Alan's never done this before, and Chandler started it all. Look out! Here comes Fast Track, and Alan is. Can he do it? Well, Alan's doing a great job. He's doing a good job. He's keeping it all in line anyway. Hold on, Alan. Look, Bob Chandler is just absolutely zipping around this track. He is just truly zipping. Oh, he had a problem making a turn there. Let's see how Alan's still after it. Chandler takes a win.
Chandler takes the win, and now Alan will finish off on the far track. Alan is really getting bounced around inside that cab. Watch him as he comes over. Look at him getting bounced around.
Oh, he is.
Oh,
He's taking a beating completely. I believe he lost his helmet, Ken. He lost his helmet somewhere along the course. Well, I've got to say that Alan Gaines is a winner tonight.
He is a winner tonight. That's his first ride for keeps in that thing, and he did real well.
Maybe his last.
No, I don't think. He'll be back. He'll be back.
There's your winner.
Fast Tracks. Bob Chandler, the winner of round 2 of the monster tanks. Bob's had this truck, what, about 6-7 months now?
There's the helmet. He actually lost his helmet. He was talking about how hard he was getting bounced around inside of the cab area of the Orange Blossom Special. Well, you see Barry walking back over to Alan with his helmet in his hand.
Mike, we'll take a look at it again. And Bob Chandler's had this truck, what, about 6-7 months now?
Oh, he has, and it just really, it goes faster and is quicker every time. Now watch Alan. Alan, first time around, he takes a hard shake forward.
There's the helmet.
There's the helmet laying off behind him. That was on the first set of cars when he lost the helmet. And he had the problem seeing in that thing. You really can't see, but look at Bob. Bob is just, and he's smoking a little bit out of the top of the fast track. Bob makes a problem there, has a little bit of a boo-boo on a turn. Alan still not letting up, though. Alan Gaines, that not type of person. And here's Bob. Floats off of it, lands super soft. Torsion bar suspension on this thing. It's so much easier to ride in and easier to drive.
Alan Gaines for his final pass, and again, you can see him getting jostled around inside that cab.
Well, Ken, I think we're going to look at shoulder harness in this one next week.
Alan's going to get strapped down, I think, for the next run.
And this is side-by-side monster truck competition. In track 1, this is the Heartbeat, Brett Engelman. Track 2, the famous Barefoot, the Chevrolet of Fred Schaefer. Both of them are Chevys with Chevy engines.
And this is going to be a round-robin competition. These monster trucks are vying for the one monster truck who will compete against the Virginia Beach team.
And that's right. It's not going to be a time competition. It's just the first one across the finish line wins. They circle around to the right or the left, then set up for the cars. And here we go with the cars. Heartbeat hits it, comes up, and down, and goes across it. There's Fred Schaefer's Barefoot, but it looks like Heartbeat takes the checkered flag. Yep, Heartbeat wins round number 1. He's happy about that. I don't know if he knows yet. He's not really sure or not.
That's a 1988.
He says, did I win? Yeah.
All right, the showdown is set for the championship here. It is going to be USA 1. Rob Litzow, 28-year-old defending national champion from Spring Lake Park, Minnesota, against that gentleman right there. Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson, also 28. He's out of Chesapeake, Virginia. That Gravedigger stands 10 foot 5 inches tall. It weighs 13,000 pounds. It's got 1,800 horsepower.
And it's going to the finals for the first time this year. He's been working long and hard to get to this point. Then to his right is going to be a man that's been there many times. But believe me, Dennis Anderson will not be intimidated, and USA 1 knows it. Look at the attack. He comes out on one. They run. Anderson takes his first win, Richard.
Dennis Anderson has done it. His first win of 1989 at Army. As we look at a replay, he did it with sheer horsepower.
What he does, he attacks the first ramp, comes over, gets the front wheels up, and actually noses over the finish line. I told you, he's got to drive 180 degrees from everybody else, and it works.
Our congratulations to Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger. They have won the championship in Biloxi, Mississippi.
The next pair of machines in this qualifying round include in the far lane D.O. Wilson's incredible Virginia Giant, one of the most popular Ford monster trucks ever built out of the state of Virginia, from Winchester, Virginia to be exact. Wilson, the 14-year veteran of U.S. Harvard Association pulling, whether it be in funny cars or modified four-wheel drive trucks, this incredible $125,000 Ford, the Virginia Giant, is so popular on the eastern seaboard. But he will be up against a brand new piece of equipment, getting ready to fire up in the near lane. Kevin Dabney out of Tampa, Florida, another veteran monster truck campaigner with the brand new Chi-Town Hustler. Airborne for both machines. Dabney sideways, but still with the advantage. The Chi-Town Hustler machine almost sideways, and that one was too close to call. Dabney and the new Chi-Town Hustler machine just about going over. The supercharged, fuel-injected, small-block Chevrolet-powered rear-engine machine had one of the wildest rides of this qualifying round, and the finish was just flat too close to call at this point. On the replay, you can see D.O. Wilson in the Virginia Giant Ford's first airborne launch over the first set of cars. The body shaking around as he definitely came down hard on the front end of the truck. When he brought it down on the ground, it was still bouncing. When he hit the second set of cars, he barely got it leveled out, but when he hit it, it was sideways in the air and came down almost falling off the cars. Wilson, on a wild ride, kept his foot in the throttle for one of the closest finishes we've seen, and gets an elapsed time of 9.34 seconds. Meanwhile, Kevin Dabney still trying to figure out the damage, if any, to the brand new Chi-Town Hustler Nissan King Cab. Here you can see Dabney sideways after a rough landing, trying to keep the machine straight, and there you see a tremendous amount of fluid spewing out of the front. It looks like it was the steering linkage and the steering fluid pump that went away for Kevin Dabney's brand new Chi-Town Hustler.
Who is the best of the beast? The Ford, Bigfoot, Andy Brass against the Chevrolet, USA 1 and Rob Litzow. It's the championship tonight in Buffalo.
Richard Lee gets to the classic battle. USA 1 Chevrolet going against the Bigfoot Ford. Side by side, Litzow's got to pull the trigger right now. He does it. Whoa, he's going over again.
Litzow has advances with the victory. Sharply goes over on the right side of the truck, completely rolls over, but he is okay, and he is trackside right now. Army's got him.
Rod, first of all, are you okay?
Yeah, just a little shook up, man, you know. The higher speed, it went fast over this time.
Yeah, I seem to be getting a lot quicker now.
Oh, yeah, a lot faster. And it was hard to react, and as she went into a slide, you know, the grass is slippery, and I couldn't pull it out of this one, and it just went all of a sudden, it caught an edge.
You're going to be able to follow up on a tour. It looks like a lot of body damage. You've been here before. Can you and Steve get this truck back? You started pulling in on the national points chase. Another setback this year. It's going to make it tougher.
I know, it is going to be a real tough one, but we got to bring it back and just look it over and see. I don't know. It's too hard to tell right now, and hopefully...
Okay, just turned the truck back over. A little bit of a fire broke out. Your crew chief's got everything under control. I'm glad you're okay. A beautiful job of driving.
Thank you. Thank you, Army.
427 supercharged engine, putting out about 600 horsepower. About 1,000 pounds lighter than the Virginia Giant. Virginia Giant through the cars, no problem at all. There goes Hot Stuff. Jeff Boehner out of Yakima. Boehner gets through a little bit faster. Short wheelbase can turn real fast. Boehner sets up in the cars. The Hot Stuff machine on the far, but here comes the Virginia Giant. Hits the cars first and just flies right through them. Drops off there at the end, but gets through, and it is the Virginia Giant.
13 years of racing finesse, one out.
A tough break for Hot Stuff. Boehner was faster between the cars, but then seemed to slow down once he hit those cars. $100,000 Corvette Flame Red Hot Stuff there on the right. The Virginia Giant out of Winchester, Virginia. There's a good shot at him.
No expense was spared on that truck, and the way it handles and the way it stays together, you can tell he built a mean truck.
Let's take a look here now and watch what happens with Hot Stuff. The Jeep, one of the few Jeep monster trucks or monster cars in existence, gets completely up in the air and then drops back down. Weighs almost 7 tons. And that's, they can feel that in Japan when he lands. 4-wheel steering. There, the Virginia Giant.
Great shot of his blue light behind his front bumper there. A beautiful truck.
Yeah, you've got to remember now, the other cars have been crushed by the 2 previous monster trucks, so it's a little easier to get through them. Virginia Giant takes home the bacon.
Richard Leake, Army Armstrong, Scott Stevens, King Crunch, ready to rock and roll. He is on the outside lane. On the inside is going to be Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher. Remember, the winner goes to the championship. This has got to be more of an important race to Gary Porter than it has to be for Scott Stevens.
Yeah, it definitely is. That's the reason Porter leads real quick with him. Porter's trying to hang on to this point battle. He's out. Now there's right side by side. What's going to happen? They get ready. Look at the back of Stevens' truck. He's in trouble. Stevens has had the suspension part. Now we got another one into the wall. Whoa, you talk about a race. One truck completely out of shape, into the wall. But look on the right. You notice hanging down from King Crunch. He's already in trouble.
And Gary Porter, a magnificent job of driving. He almost flipped it on the driver's side.
Both drivers, Richard, both drivers doing some heads-up driving.
Let's get the word on the win from Gary Porter.
What happened out there? That looked like a war.
It did. I sort of took a weird bounce over to the right and slammed into the wall. I knew I was going to have to push my truck to the limit to beat King Crunch, and I just had to do what I had to do.
That's exactly what you're doing. Now, can you do what you got to do to get to this next round?
I think I can. I think all the damage I have is a little bent rim and a flat tire, and I think I can get it back up.
We got 2 more ready to go, Mike. Who do we have?
Round 4, we're setting with Jim Kramer driving Bigfoot and Jeff Boehner, Hot Stuff. Jeff Boehner out of the state of Washington. Jim Kramer sitting over on the inside with the Bigfoot truck out of St. Louis. Of course, the truck is a legend in its own time. That would be definitely the pick to win this round.
Here we go.
Look at the hole shot.
Here we go.
Look at the hole shot. Hot Stuff. Hot Stuff is really pulling a hole shot. It's close all the way around. Jim Kramer's going to have to go for it. It's right at the finish. Oh, he's not letting off. It's Hot Stuff. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. He settled it down. Look at this. The upset of the night. The upset of the night.
Unbelievable. Hot Stuff was Hot Stuff right from the get-go. Oh, Mike, when they went over those cars, it was like lightning with all the flash bulbs going off. People taking pictures. Just an incredible start for Hot Stuff.
Watch this run. Jeff has wanted this for a long time, and he's covered Bigfoot half a car length right there. The turn is going to be critical. Kramer sees him out of the corner of his eye, and he knows he has to go for it. But watch Jeff. At this time, he knows he's got a chance of beating Foot. This may be his only chance, and when he hits the cars, he never lets up.
This young man usually backs just a little bit, but not this time. Watch him all the way up in the air. When he lands, all he can do is hold on and hope for the best. Bigfoot ending up a little bit late. Hot Stuff has absolutely pulled the upset of the night.
So there you see the kill switch going into the Carolina Crusher. He's going to take on Awesome Kong in that far lane and the green.
And he says he can beat him in this narrow lane. It looks like he's doing a tremendous job so far. Awesome Kong's got a little bit of the lead right there, but just Carolina Crusher just flies by him at the finish line.
Boy, he certainly crushed him. Unbelievable, and out of that near side lane.
And look, they both hit that first set of cars just at the identical same time. Awesome Kong on the ground first, but here's where Carolina Crusher just uses his horsepower. Not quite as much air as Awesome Kong, and there's where he just flies by him at the finish line.
Steve Kane is shocked. He thought he won the race. Steve, did it look from your viewpoint like you edged it out?
It did to me. I heard my motor popping, though, when I was going down through there. But I sure felt I won, but I guess not, according to the video.
Well, Rich, indeed, a photo finish.
Yeah, that's one thing that's good about these videos, and that's where it can show that it was a real close race. Mike Goss is standing by with Gary Porter.
Equalizer won the other semifinal out of the same lane. Did you watch him closely?
Yes, I watched him real close, where he lined up on the cars, and he lined up exactly where I had planned to line up, and I seen it work good for him, so I went through with my plans.
Are you going to get him?
I'm going to give it everything I got. I think I can. He's a real strong runner, but I'm going to have to run him down.
So the track crew putting down some oil drive.
All right, we are ready to go. They're off and running, just showing off against Stomper.
Hallfager gets a hole shot, puts a local boy in a bad spot. Witt said earlier he has the horsepower to come back on the second half of the track. He's going to have to do it. The Ford jumps on the inside lane. The Chevrolet's going to have to really dial the horsepower in now. It looks like he's coming on him, Richard.
Paul Huffaker with the lead, but here comes Mike Witt. Mike Witt with a tremendous surge of power goes around Huffaker.
Huffaker has to go to the high side. Witt got to be granted from ear to ear. The horsepower seems to be working. He's hanging outside the Stomper Chevrolet.
All right, it's going to be a race to the finish now as Mike Witt and Stomper 1 heads for the final set of cars. He is up and over. Mike Witt is going to win it over Paul Huffaker, and just showing off, Mike Witt and Stomper 1 is your winner. A tremendous race in Louisville, Kentucky.
The year's not going to cut slack for anybody. Standing with me right now, the lone hope for the Ford cans, Mike Wine. You say you're going to hammer all these Chevrolets on the final race with a Ford. I don't know if they're believing that or not.
Yeah, I waited all of them to beat their trucks last night. Gravedigger beat his first and tore it up, so I think he was afraid to run me in the first round last night.
Wait a minute here. Dennis Anderson with the Gravedigger. Go ahead.
Hold on a minute.
No way. The Ford's not going to dominate tonight. It's going to be a Chevrolet, and it's going to be the Gravedigger.
Takes 10 Chevrolets to even touch one Ford. He'll have his chance. We'll be coming up next round. Instead of running his mouth, let him run his truck.
We talked about it in the opening. There you see the fans loving the Gravedigger. Tombstones for all the other monster trucks. And there he is. But we talked about it earlier, going out on a roll. Well, Equalizer seems to be doing that, but here are two trucks that could spoil it all for him, and they're going to go head-to-head. Dennis Anderson's wildly popular Gravedigger against the fast-rushing Jersey Outlaw Ford, the Nick Roscione machine with Mike Wine behind the wheel.
Both drivers pull their gloves off and go after each other. No love lost. Wine, he says Ford's the best truck in America. The Gravedigger says not buying it. It's going to be Chevrolet all the way. Awesome red lights on the Gravedigger say he's 100%. Mike Wine sets in the Ford. Motor goes up on the RPM. Who's going to win it? Everybody's on their feet in Freedom Hall. The final run for one of them. Who's going on the trailer?
Here they go. Gravedigger coming right close to you. Look out, Dennis almost went over. Mike Wine got the win in the Gravedigger. I don't know how he didn't go over on his roof, Army.
On the replay, the top of the truck actually touches the cars. Now watch this. That's what kicks him back over. Throttle, full throttle right now. Look at the wheel spin. Bang!
That's 90 degrees. That's straight up and down. Oh, my.
That's what you see when you go to a TNT monster truck race right there.
You want to talk about a run that has left people speechless. I mean, they roared, but they're gasping at the same time. An incredible run for Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. I'll tell you, we have seen wild action all year long. There's Dennis out of the truck. He's going to go over now and talk with Army about one of the craziest and wildest rides of 1989 for Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. Wow.
Well, Dennis, you're notorious for the wild rides. The last really turns you on. That's what really pumps you, isn't it? When you take the wilder the ride, the better you like it.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I love to show off in front of the crowd. That's what the crowd wants, blood and guts. That's what they're going to get.
Mike Wine, though, in the Jersey Outlaw was going for the win, and he got it. Wine has now joined Army and Dennis Anderson.
Underneath. What do you do in a situation like that? Blood and guts is what he calls it. That's just about what it was out there, Mike.
Both of us have been after each other's blood and guts all year long. We gave it everything we got. I wasted the spare radiator I got, tore up a couple steering components, and I've seen the whole undercarriage of his truck. Me and him are just out for each other. I'm not even sure who won yet, but that was a beautiful race.
It was you. You're coming back. Hang in there. You could win the last one of the year.
I'm trying. I'm going to give it everything I got for every Ford person that stood behind me all year long. Like I said before, I've lost a lot this year, but I've learned a lot to come back next year, and our truck's going to be number one.
Thanks, Army. So Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw knock off the Gravedigger in a wild quarterfinal race. When we come back, more quarterfinal action with Buffalo Trimmer trying to tame the wild hair and King Crunch plucking the feathers from the Thunder Chicken. Stay with us.
All right, the fourth heat. Bottom part of your screen. That is Larry Garville from Victoria, Texas in the Texas Stomper. And we'll go up against Dan Patrick from Kingston, Ohio in Samson 2. Samson 2, a 1989 Chevy Silverado, 513 engine.
This is only the third time for Dan Patrick to ever drive a monster truck. He's been driving funny cars and dragsters in the pulling world for quite some time. Don't watch that Texas Stomper. I tell you what, he's super tough truck. But don't count out Dan Patrick just because he's new at this game. He
Wide
made
turn.
some good
Big
passes.
oh.
Texas Stomper almost puts it over on its side. It's side by side when they hit the cars. The Stomper is in a little bit of trouble.
Man.
He noses down, pulls it out in the last minute. The Stomper still having trouble shutting it down, and he went in front of the Samson truck. Ooh!
I'll tell you, it looked like Garville was out to make a name for himself.
That is one of the most action-packed races I've ever seen. Monster truck.
Texas Stomper with the win here tonight, and that despite a real wide turn. Watch the turn he makes.
Watch him get real tight on it in the front. At this time, it comes up on its side. We're going to go over to Samson. Dan Patrick makes a good turn, but he looks over and sees what's happening. And here the Stomper, Texas Stomper, has got it straightened out. Watch him, Ken Brew. He's up in the air.
Oh, man.
And, I mean, flying. Then it angles off to the left-hand side. He lands in a little trouble, goes right up on the nose. He looked at the floor of the Astrodome, and then he bounces over the finish line, and it looks like to me he's got stopping problems. Of course, he can't keep it down long enough to shut it off, but he does go on.
88 Renegade TNT Monster Truck Challenge champion, Army.
For the national championship, it's one run. Chevrolet and Ford. Who's it going to be? Litzow nails the Chevrolet. Chevrolet takes the win.
Look out! Rod Litzow on his nose, now on his side, and he is down. Rod Litzow has flipped USA 1. The first person out there is George Smith, crew chief of Bigfoot, helping Rod Litzow. They are trying to pull it. Here he comes out of the monster truck now. He appears to be okay, but he has flipped the Chevrolet, but he has won the national title.
Chevrolet officially the #1 monster truck in the country. What happened when he went over the last jump? The left front wheel hooked on him, tucked into the body, and rolled him.
So Rod Litzow takes it on its side, but wins in Freedom Hall the national title.
I want to jump out and push it back over. The tire started throwing in, and it just kept wrapping under. I don't know if that tire let loose and come back. I had nothing I could pull on it. It just hit, and it just started to fold under, and it just like slow motion. I was hoping to jump out and push it back over.
Well, I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, it's kind of interesting. The first man to come over and help Rod Litzow was Rick Hoosier. This was a war. The people in Louisville, Kentucky are standing up. 18,000 people just saw a tremendous event. If it's any consolation to you, that'll bump you up into the National Points League.
Yeah, temporarily. But, I don't know, it was a wicked ride.
We'll let you get back to your crew. We noticed Everett's over there working, but you are okay, right?
Yeah. Just a little stunned, but first time I ever rolled. Now I can say I've done it.
Well, Army, do me a favor. Grab Rod and tell him the Renegade TNT officials have just informed us Rod Litzow and Everett Jasmer's USA 1 Chevrolet have done enough to capture the 1988 Renegade TNT Monster Truck Challenge Overall Championship. But Tommy Bryant would love nothing more than to beat the Big Blue Ford. Of course, any driver of monster truck racing, that's his goal. But Kelling picking up a full second in the first round of eliminations to a 7.43 second win. Now has to make sure he gets at least a hole shot off the starting line, because if Bryant gets any advantage in that Mustang at all, he may be able to pull off the supreme upset here at the Super Bowl of Motorsports. Waiting patiently for the green flag start. RPM's up. And they leave the starting line, and the hole shot goes to Bryant. The Pony Express Mustang almost on two wheels into the mud pit. Sideways. Unbelievable finish. Too close to call at this point. Absolutely unbelievable effort for Tommy Bryant and the Pony Express. Shelley got the whole shot. He was ahead all the way until the machine went sideways into the mud pit. What a ride.
It's going to be wild and crazy action, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the All-American Motorsports Series. Well, first we had qualifying in the monster trucks, then we went to our first round of eliminations. Now we are down to 8 trucks. That's 4 heats. Then we'll go, of course, down to 2 heats, and from there to the finals. It ought to be a knockdown, drag-out battle here at Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. Back to the action. This could be a good one developing right here. Remember the Dane boys out of Texas don't like to lose. Either does Dale Hancock with the Crimson Crusher. All right, gentlemen, bring your trucks to the line. The red light is on. Al Goss ready with the switch. He makes sure it's thumbs up from both drivers. Here they come, they're racing. Here comes Awesome Kong. Here comes Crimson. Oh, Awesome Kong's got some problems. No, Crimson Crusher's got problems. Awesome Kong has got to stay on the outside lane. Crimson Crusher's going to gain right here. Here they come. Right down to the finish. Right down to the finish. Here they go. Yes. Yes. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Awesome Kong, Jeff Dane. Unbelievable. Oh, he has broken. It looks like he has broken something. All right, we're going to try to get Mike Snyder down here at trackside. You can see as Awesome Kong went over that last set of cars, a big part laying on the track. Mike, what happened to Awesome Kong?
It looks like he had some problems with his steering on the front end, Dave, and then he also had a transmission leak, so we sent him outside to get him ready for the next round.
All right, can he get fixed?
I think he can. It's going to take a lot of work, but I think he'll be back.
All right, good luck. All right.
Southern Storm out of South Carolina with Robbie Giles at the wheel will be going up against one of the best, Jon Breen and Mad Dog.
Yeah, you might be looking at my truck and notice it's a little different than most of the rest of them. It's got the top cut off of it. The reason I've done that is so I can see a little better when I'm racing. I can see all the way around the front of the vehicle instead of just out one door. I think it's an advantage when you're racing, because when I center up on the cars, I center right in the center of the car when I hit them, and not just to one side. I know where I'm at. I think it helps me a lot.
Southern Storm against Mad Dog. Southern Storm against Mad Dog. Here they go. Here they go. Southern Storm against Mad Dog. Mad Dog, Jon Breen. Whoa, 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 whoa. Southern Storm against Mad Dog, and what a finish it was. Mad Dog barely winning it by just a couple feet.
A proven champion, Steve Dane and King Kong, lining up with a spoiler, Dale Harris in Casper.
When we were younger, my dad was involved in motorsports, and he got us involved with different types of activities like motorcycling, go-karting. We had lawnmowers used to do 40 miles an hour. We put car tires, regular 16-inch, 15-inch car tires on lawnmowers, and they found out it made them go faster. We enjoyed that. My brother Jeff, who owns the trucks, he's into all types of motors, anything that revs up high and builds horsepower, he likes it. And one day he asked me if I'd drive it about 6 years ago. I enjoyed what I was doing. I just had a heck of a time doing it, traveling around the country. And here I am 6 years later, loving every minute of it. I don't get an adrenaline flow from a motorcycle, which I have 3 or 4 of them. It's just adrenaline flow, and I get excited, and I love it, and it's man and machine, and there's a hell of a lot of machine there, and just to control something that big, gives you a damn good feeling.
Steve Dane against Casper. All right, Casper, the friendly ghost. Dale Harris. All right, and what are you going to do in the finals now?
Well, he's number one. He's the best. He's good. But I'm going to try to put it on him tonight.
All right, good luck. Yeah, all right, Dale Harris out of Pearl, Mississippi, feeling mighty good about the finals. Steve Dane against Casper. All right, Casper, the friendly ghost. Dale Harris out of Pearl, Mississippi, the 80 Toyota against the Ford of Steve. Oh, look at this. Oh, wow. Unbelievable. Oh, look. Oh, King Kong and Casper, they're rocking Saka back and forth. This is wild. This is crazy. Uh-oh, here comes Awesome Kong. Oh, it's right to the end. Yeah, oh, my word. I'm not sure who won it. I don't know. We are not sure who won it. That, ladies and gentlemen, is great monster truck racing, and they've seen a super race here in Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium. Wheel to wheel. We don't know who won it right now. We'll give you the results here in just a moment. Very close from our vantage point here at trackside. The drivers side by side, wheel to wheel, non-stop action. I tell you, it went right down to the wire. Dale Harris out of Casper, Mississippi. Here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a big round of applause here in Atlanta. Yes, whoa. Well, Dale Harris, first we say congratulations. We're going to ask you to take the helmet off there because we want to get to see your face here. I tell you, you were one cocky driver before this race got started because you took your kudos and bows before you ever went to the line. You must feel very confident.
Well, when you got the good Lord and he's your driver and he's your co-pilot and he gives you grace, you can do whatever he feels like it's right for you to do.
Yeah, all right, Dale Harris out of Pearl, Mississippi, feeling mighty good about the finals.
Never count out Fred Schaefer in barefoot track. Supercharged Chevrolet, and Fred Schaefer runs a very crisp, right on the edge motor. Super horsepower comes out of it.
Now the Stormtrooper truck, Mike, tell me a little bit about that.
It's Ken Ewan's new truck out of Oklahoma. 1988 Ford Ranger, supercharged engine on the back side of it. And this will only be the second time that this vehicle has been out. So let's watch them race. Ford versus Chevrolet Stormtrooper and barefoot. Fred Schaefer's out. It's close. When they went by me, Ken Ewan had just a little bit of a lead, but I think that's vanished. Fred Schaefer seems to have it now. Schaefer's on the throttle. Watch him. Schaefer over the first set of cars. Oh, he doesn't let up. He's taking a beating. The floor is just vibrating on the floor of the dome. Fred Schaefer is lined up for that last set. Now watch him go. Fred Schaefer holds on. Whoa! Fred Schaefer takes a win.
Mike, those trucks are so difficult to steer. People don't realize it's not a steering wheel in there. It's a series of, what do you call them, pulleys? Sticks? What do they steer those things with?
Well, they've got steering sticks that they're using to control the vehicle with. Fred Schaefer's truck is leaking a little bit of fluid out of it. Looks to be some antifreeze, so he may have built a little bit too much heat in that truck, but he hammered the Stormtrooper. So Fred Schaefer goes on in the round. He will advance. Stormtrooper goes on a trailer.
It all off. It's got to be the Scott Stevens machine. King KRUNCH taking on the ultimate in monster truck racing thus far this year, the national points leader, that is Rich Hoosier in the Bigfoot 4.
I tell you, Scott Stevens was grinning ear to ear, and I don't blame him. He's had a terrible, terrible summer as far as luck goes. He's flipped end over end in Colorado, tried to get the truck back together. He's got the right idea. He's got the right combination. He just can't get it to drop at the right time for him. He represents Chevrolet in this run, of course, for all the Ford fans. is. We love Bigfoot, they're saying. They're going to be coming off that left lane. A good job by the Chevrolet. The Ford's going to have to come from behind. Hoosier has his work cut out for him. The track conditions could dictate a winner. Richard, what does it look like on your end?
It looks like another heck of a finish here in Charleston, West Virginia. The winner is going to be Rich Hoosier, doing what he's done so many times this year, putting on a late charge to take the win. Rich Hoosier and Bigfoot moves on. King Crunch goes to the pits, and we return on ESPN with more action in a moment. Well, let's see how the Stomper machine can power his way down the track. It's going to be Stomper 1, Gail Medford, going up against the new guy on the circuit, Buffalo trimmer, Jon KWASNIEWSKI. Now, if you think his name is hard to say, look at where he's from. Lackawanna, New York. So let's shorten it to Johnny K to make it easy on us all. Jon KWASNIEWSKI takes on Stomper, and they're off and rolling.
Johnny K gets a gate job on him, but the Stomper, oh, we're in trouble. Stomper, engine seems to be going away. Medford stays after it, almost frustrated driving styles. Medford won't quit with a Stomper, Richard.
What a wild ride for the Stomper 1 machine of Gail Medford. As a matter of fact, he went off course, and that's going to result in a disqualification for Gail Medford coming off the line, taking a wild run down the track. That means Johnny K advances on.
Gail Medford been fighting the blues all year long. I don't think the luck's changed around. Gail, come here a minute, please. Looks like, I'm sorry to be a bearer of bad news, looks like another engine let go on you on that shot.
Been a bad day all the way around, Army.
I'll tell you what, Gail Medford, a tough break. They're trying to put the truck back together. We're going to let the Stomper crew get to work.
It'll either be Awesome Kong, the former mud bogger, Steve Kane, or USA 1, the former motorcycle hill climber, Rod Litzow.
Richard, during the interview, both drivers said one word, flying. We're going to be looking for some air. And another thing, during the interviews, I noticed one thing between the drivers, confidence. Both of these fellas are pumped. Who's it going to be?
Good race.
Texas going after Minnesota. This kid out of Texas looking good.
Whoa!
I don't know again. From
USA 1, Army. He took him by about half a nose of the hood. You see on the replay right there, Rod Litzow and USA 1 has started his long climb back, looking for his second consecutive national championship. It all starts here in Buffalo as we go trackside with your winner.
Rod, this kid out of Texas making a name for himself, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's a hard runner. But I was so pumped up tonight that I don't think there was anything that would have stopped me from taking home first place. And I really like this. I feel good out here. Everything's running great, and I'm going all out for it. Because once you start running mini-series, it's constant racing, so you get more used to the truck. And that's just what I like. I'm out here. I'm getting used to the truck. I'm going to go faster and faster every track.
Okay, so once again, things get wild and woolly with the monster trucks. Tonight, USA 1 and Rod Litzow gets the win.
I'll tell you what, you talk about a dandy matchup. I would just about buy a ticket and go sit on the other side of the fence to watch this next race. The kid out of Tennessee, your national point leader, trying to bump off number 1, the USA 1 Chevrolet, and they're off and at it.
It's the defending national champion closest to you, USA 1, and the new kid on the block, the point leader, Equalizer.
Oh, he's going over, Scott.
He lost a wheel and has flipped it. The Equalizer and David Morris is on his side. The camera's getting us a good shot.
We're going to get him out. He looks all right, Scott. It was close.
He has come out of the truck on his own power. You can see several running over to help him out. The EMTs are there. There's John Moore in the yellow driving suit coming over, another Tennessee driver, to see how David Morris is. And of course, the TNT officials on hand, and the crowd is standing after a wild ride. Army's back with us. Army, look at this replay, and we'll see if we can look at the back end go up.
What happened? The truck landed good, but it took a bad bounce. The left front suspension collapsed, and he high-sided it in the worst way, crushing the right side of the truck down. The driver is okay. All the safety equipment held up, but what a ride.
What a ride indeed, David Morris. And there he is waving to the crowd. He's okay. An incredible ride for the Equalizer. Here's Army with David Morris.
David, you set up a war and you fought a good battle. I can't think of anything else that you could have done to win that thing. It was awesome.
Well, I didn't know what happened. I knew I made a good landing when I landed, and I don't know, I couldn't figure out why the truck would be rolling, but I knew it was, so I hope it didn't hit Rod's anywhere.
No, Rod's okay. He was over here worried about you. The landing was good. The bounce is where the problem came in. You landed, it looked good, and then you took a real weird bounce that we've been talking about all night long, and it went over to the left front, and that's what tore the whole front suspension out from underneath the truck.
Well, I didn't know what happened. I knew something had happened major because the truck had started into a roll, and it hadn't been doing it when it takes that kind of landing, so I knew something had to broke.
We're going to let you. They're going to put you right back to work. Gary Cook's got a bunch of guys. They're going to try to get the truck fixed. We're glad you're okay.
We'll see you on the tour later on.
Okay, thanks.
David Morris remarkably composed, and wow, look at the damage done to the equalizer truck. It won't be back tonight. He gets the win, but David Morris is out of the competition for this evening. So officially he wins the race, but since he can't come back, it'll be USA 1 and Rod Litzow moving to the semifinals.
Well, like you say, the replay shows he won it free and clear, but one of the most concerned people on that track was Rod Litzow. Now, Rod's flipped the truck 4 or 5 times already this year. He was very concerned about Dave. Once he found out he was okay, he took the USA 1 and went back in the pit area.
Here we go, side by side, 2 strong Chevrolets. It's the Carolina Crusher and Gary Porter matching up with Bennett Clark's Clydesdale, the long wheelbase Clydesdale going up against the Carolina Crusher. I'm looking forward to this matchup.
Now, the Clydesdale is working the inside. Remember his qualifying section, he started on the outside and got into the wall a little bit. He's gone to the inside. The Carolina Crusher is going to develop a whole lot of ground speed right about now. It's an awfully close race. They're working inside, outside. This could be a good one. Now, Bennett Clark says this is his kind of track. Clark and the Clydesdale hits the jump first, but he's got to go the long way around now, and the Carolina Crusher knows it. Clydesdale a little bit out of shape. Clark's got to settle down, got to use his head, got to work that groove to the high side of the track. Boy, the Crusher sees, watch Bennett Clark. Clark's coming after him, Scott. Look at this, over the finish line, all the way. You got to call that an upset.
They're standing in Louisville. I think the grandstand may come down. They're going nuts. Bennett Clark with a last-minute lunge pulls it off and has beaten Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher. Here it is again, Army. Look, out of nowhere.
Gary Porter looks like he's back on the throttle. Bennett Clark wouldn't quit. Flies right past him to advance to the next round, and the people in Louisville are going crazy, Scott.
It was just a lot more power than I was used to, and I was coming off the straightaway, and I was bouncing really hard, and I kind of looked over, and Stomper was fixing to drive by me. And as light as my truck is and as big as motors I got, I can usually pull away, so I just leaned on it real hard. And that was about the end of it. It jumped up and nosed real hard in the air. And it was up in the air long enough, I shut the alcohol off, turned the motor off before it ever hit, because I knew it was going to land right on its nose. At first, we kind of thought the truck was really hurt too bad to even race, but...
In Montgomery, Alabama, who is going to face Bigfoot and Jim Kramer in the finals? One of these 2 brother monster trucks. Either Steve Kane and King Kong or Steve Dane and Awesome Kong. Both trucks owned by Jeff Dane out of Killeen, Texas. Army, I'm confused.
Richard, don't be confused. It kind of reminds me of the 50s. On a Saturday night, the local drive-in movie, the Kongs are in town. The winner gets to dance with Bigfoot for the championship. What happened here? A drive shaft, Lou, fell out of the vehicle. Now, you're required to have 2. That was the 3rd strap, so he's okay. He will be able to go in the final.
All right, so do most of the monster truck drivers carry an extra one?
Yeah, just for safety. Like I say, the rules state you have to have a loop at the front and the rear of the drive shaft. That was one from the center.
All right, as you heard earlier in an interview with Steve Kane, driver King Kong, he said horsepower would determine the winner of this race. He also said Steve Dane and Awesome Kong had more horsepower, so in essence, Awesome Kong ought to win it, Army.
On paper, yes, but like Jim Kramer said a moment ago, anybody can still get in the final. We know it's going to be an orange truck against a blue truck. The question, will it be the orange Ford or the orange Chevrolet? And look at that Chevrolet come out.
What a whole shot.
Great driving by the kid out of Texas.
Steve Dane has done it again. He has won an Awesome Kong, and Army, he won it right there at the starting gate.
Came out a perfect light. He cut the Algos light to perfection. He'll be in the finals against Foot.
So once again, it's going to be the ultimate final matchup. Chevrolet taking on Ford. Bigfoot Jim Kramer against Steve Dane and Awesome Kong.
Gravedigger was last night's winner and the #1 qualifier for this elimination.
All right, here we go now, the Barbarian. Jim Miller out of Nokomis, Illinois, 78 Ford, going against the Gravedigger. The Gravedigger's wild and crazy. Look at the Gravedigger go. Oh, the Gravedigger's on it. I tell you, the Gravedigger did not win by that much. The Gravedigger looked awfully smooth, but he did not win by that much. Barbarian giving him a very good race. All right, as Dennis Anderson climbs out of the Gravedigger, let's talk a little bit about the truck. You can see all of the special shock absorbers they have underneath. The tires alone are $1,500 a piece, $6,000 a set. And Dennis Anderson always climbs down out of the truck with a smile on his face. because you know that he's had an awfully good run, but it was close out there, Dennis.
Yeah, it was. I kind of missed my gear there. I didn't get into second gear like I should have, but things were getting rough, so I had to hang on.
All right, good points you bring up. In other words, you shift gears as you get down the track?
All right. Well, after I launch, I try to go ahead and shift one time, and if I don't go on and shift once I take off, it's kind of rough to do it as I'm in the air and jerking around.
Hey, you better have it in the right gear if we go to the final.
Yeah, it will be.
All right, he's confident he can win it.
David Morris, the equalizer out of the great state of Tennessee.
You know, this kid out of the volunteer state driving the equalizer impresses me a whole bunch. He's not afraid of anybody. He's got a good truck under him. A lot of technology in this truck that he's driving, the equalizer. Look at Dane. He's pumped. He believes he's going to the next round. I guarantee you this kid out of Tennessee is going to give him all he wants. He's going to make Dane earn a win if he takes it. However, equalizer could pull off an upset, Richard.
This is one of the few times on the circuit I've seen Steve Dane so serious, though.
Yeah, I believe he's actually having problems. I think the transmission's hurting him, and he knows this kid's coming after him. It's just like an old-time gunfight. The young kid is coming after the leader. It's going to happen right now.
Boy, it's tough when you're 28 years old like Steve Dane, and he's considered an old gunfighter. Here they go, and look out! Oh. We have got a dead heat. I do not... Army, could you tell trackside?
From our viewpoint, right at the end of the track, I have no idea who took that win.
All right, there you see our TNT officials. They are looking at the videotape replay of this race. And, guys, if you could back it up, let us see the finish here. Right there. That looks like Awesome Kong, Army.
Just by a little. I'll tell you, that's one of the best races we've had on the tour this year, Richard.
Officially, the winner, Steve, the Flying Texan Dane, and Awesome Kong. And, whoa, what a race.
Well, Steve Dane, right now, you're on top of this sport, but this kid out of Tennessee is coming after you.
Well, he did the right thing. He's got a real lightweight machine, weighs well under 10,000 pounds. I'm well over that. He doesn't need to develop the horsepower, and he seems to stay pretty close to the ground. I don't know, I haven't been watching him too close. And by having a poor qualifying, I got the crummy lane, and I thought it wasn't that bad, but it's considerably worse after taking a few laps on it.
Well, I tell you what, you are to be congratulated, young man. Like we said earlier, you're coming along quick in this sport. I believe we got a win in the future real quick for you. Do you feel that confident in the truck? It looks great.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I'm hurting for horsepower right now, but I do have another motor that I'm going to put in, and just a matter of time of getting it in. And I think with a little bit more horsepower, I can come off the line a lot faster and do better in the whole race.
Well, Richard, I got back to another TNT. Tennessee going after Texas. Texas took the win tonight. Before the year's over, let's get out of the volunteer state. I believe he's going to be there.
It's Kenny Kelling in the near lane and the legendary Bigfoot Ford of Bob Chandler from St. Louis, Missouri. This particular machine stood this crowd on its ear 1 year ago at this event in winning the Unlimited Monster Truck Battle. However, he'll be up against a newcomer to the Florida ranks of monster truck racing in the far lane, the 1935 Ford, believe it or not, of Kenny Fecox from Polk City, Florida. Considered by many as one of the wildest newcomers of this national event trail, utilizing a 515 cubic inch Ford wedge power plant. They leave the starting line and it's Bigfoot getting the whole shot. Kenny Kelling and Bigfoot bouncing all over the place and getting a tremendous amount of advantage over the Outlaw 35, which just about goes over sideways. And Kenny Kelling in the legendary Bigfoot Ford wins his qualifying battle with ease. Kenny Kelling leaves the starting line beautifully, hits the first set of cars with the biggest airborne jump we've seen so far in qualifying, but a tremendously hard landing as the machine is still bouncing when he hits the second set of cars. But Kelling nearly clears the entire set, comes across the finish line with an incredible 8.49 second elapsed time, the #1 qualifying spot again for the defending champion here at the Super Bowl. On the replay, we can see the wild ride that Kenny Fecox had in the Outlaw 35 Ford. The first jump, not bad at all. The machine landing pretty squarely on the first set of cars. It was the second set of cars that gave him the problems. Bouncing around and then hitting the second set sideways, that's where he broke the tie rod. On that landing, destroying the front end and giving the Florida resident no steering whatsoever. He coasts across the finish line with an elapsed time of 20.13 seconds. Well, Kenny Kelling and Bigfoot sets the pace with the quickest elapsed time of qualifying at 8.49 seconds. And indeed, that will lead the way at this point, putting Tommy Bryant's Pony Express #2 at 9.13 seconds and the Thumper Ford for Florida at 9.35.
In the track, and I think I got it down pat now. We will find out because they have just taken the green light. On the outside, Gary Porter, the Carolina Crusher. Waitsboro, North Carolina. On the inside, David Morris, the equalizer from Springfield, Tennessee. The winner goes to the final.
In between each round, he's been tightening the chassis up on his equalizer. Looks to be working, but he's halfway through. That means he's got to go to the high side for the second half. The Carolina Crusher told us a moment ago what he's going to do. He's going to drill it all the way around. We have got one good monster truck racing going. The lane choice is going to be so important right now because the inside lane's the place to be. But look at the equalizer. I don't know. From my viewpoint, Scott Douglas, I cannot tell who won that race.
It was so close. We're going to look at it on the videotape as they come off the cars together. Carolina Crusher noses in front, and there you see it by a half a wheel, a hubcap, if you will. The win is the Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher.